I lost count of how long it's been since everything started. US citizens, non-citizens, and just people are being held who are where Dred and Harriet Scott were enslaved. Reflection on the state of occupation. At the height, there were 3,000 ICE agents, and now there are 500. People are giving others rides to jobs. People getting groceries to protect people that can't leave their houses. Everybody met their neighbors during the George Floyd protests. So we had some practice going into this. I could get bagged. There were helicopters in my neighborhood. We were chasing them through the streets. At some point, I felt so much more exhausted than afraid. You have to have so much restraint when you deal with these fools. There was a release of that at the camp. Philip, Potter, and Central Witter neighborhoods. Philip is where the American Indian movement was started. There are Spanish-speaking natives and Afro-Indigenous people being taken by ICE. It is the place of the Cold Water Spring occupation. Destroy the Whipple building and Fort Snelling. What we want is this fort and modern-day death camp infrastructure removed. Neighbors just started to form up. They showed up in front of houses. Interrupted things. They blew whistles. There were spotters on the streets running license plates to identify undercover agents. We made a license plate database. We would drive and honk, then neighbors would mob the cars. Folks would show up to serve, document, and witness. Keep them from doing their job. Widespread mutual aid to support. The rental assistance. The eviction moratorium. Interrupt and get people out of harm's way. Make the occupation economically unfeasible. It took too much discipline. Get ICE in a position to embarrass themselves. A lot of insults and cussing at the pigs. They were idiots. Hiding behind a mask and body armor. There was when Jake Long came. They threw water balloons and pinned him into the crowd. They took off his body armor and chased him through the streets. ICE raid on a Liberian family. People showed up. ICE tear gassed the street. A baby in a passing car got tear gassed. They had to get help. The mob fucked up all the ICE cars that threw the gas. They mobbed ICE out of the neighborhood. Their actions revealed stupidity and cowardice. Did not get the ultimate goal of occupation of the city. This year was definitely a battle. I had a friend who never got the Defend New Orleans stuff after Katrina. This month, the same friend started a group to defend the 612. Post-Katrina was also a military occupation. The people who you would not expect were using military language, at least occupation, to describe what was happening. 2 big SUVs with guys with guns getting chased with 50 people. The police were pointing their guns, but the people just had whistles. Spiritual battle of the mind of the nation and its consciousness. Disrupt the military with nonviolence. My neighbors and I battled these fuckers for months. They were using military-grade shit. We were doing this alone. The sheriff, Department of Natural Resources, state troopers, and police deputies helped clean scenes after ICE raids, and protect the buildings of ICE. ICE ran off the State Department agents. The local government folded. The city was defended by aunties, white hippies, black teen students and people who were just tired of this shit. They were securing the neighborhood against the neighborhood. At the end of the day it is us paying them for the satisfaction of us doing their work ourselves. The day that Pretty got killed, aunties were out in ribbon skirts and gas masks. There was dancing to bachata in the middle of the intersection. People took parts of the city back from the occupation. We still don't know the names of all the black and brown people that got taken. Some people want to go and help, but they don't want to win. There is a militancy needed to put this shit to bed. Me and my guy chased a few ICE agents out of a neighborhood. They pulled their guns, and we realized we almost got shot at 40 miles an hour. What can we do to make this shit gone for good? I'm still in a battle. It's now about the memory of this moment. People are like, oh, yeah, it's cool. It's time to go back. It's the job of artists and cultural workers to keep our minds open. We as neighbors just defended ourselves against a military occupation. Do we need this shit? We spend $238 million on a police department that won't help us. We organized neighbors and neighborhoods block by block. We know that the world is run by fascist psychopaths, and billionaire pedophiles and impoverished goons that are willing to be guns for hire. Could we make a world that is better than that, a world that is run by us, for us, without having those people who are so evil and so vile and compromising the lives that we're trying to lead? We're really just trying to figure out how we can be good humans to one another. Can we make something better? It is an assertion of indigenous sovereignty. Let's think beyond the electoral cycle and think about running this shit ourselves. We are getting ready to fight over ideas. Be in community with those who are vulnerable. Tons of people got injured. They threw flashbang grenades at people in the park where I run every day. There is a new type of tear gas that's extremely toxic to the body. They popped off so much tear gas that you can't see anything for blocks. The gas came through the high rises, and people had to evacuate. They shot people in the eyes and heads with rubber bullets. Students were sprayed in the face with bear spray. A lot of people in the cold. There is a psychological and spiritual injury of always looking for danger. The arts community is holding gatherings. A lot of people still feel shut in. Ain't no telling how many people got taken. There is a map of confirmed and unconfirmed kidnappings of over 1,000 people. It's terrifying and disappointing that we don't know. I want to show up at the native camp regularly. I want to build with these folks. Call to destroy Fort Whipple and the buildings used. Connecting people and conversations. We are ready to decide for ourselves how we are governed and how our government will be. When you take out the racial underpinnings, this is simply an assertion of white settlers. This is the Indian War. It's against the settlers and against the people. People are comparing this to the Holocaust, but the Holocaust was based on the U.S. occupation of native land, and the persecution of black and indigenous communities. Especially businesses. Black and brown businesses are going down because people don't want to get to them. The city has a plan to build a business park in the next 20 years in the same corridor that are now blocked. It's blood sport working for people with money. Inaction feeds the beast. Make a decision to get engaged or stay the fuck out the way. To the artists and creators out there, it's important to make things in this moment. We need to be hanging out, but hanging out and talking real shit with each other. The other day, someone in my neighborhood was skeptical about all of this actually happening. We all got to get our own people in pace with this shit.